Hello and good morning. Welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. So as you know, we are going over the book Failing Forward by John Maxwell. And before we get started, we want to invite some people on here. I also want to say thank you to Bess for doing the show on Friday morning. Reason I was not here was because my family from Wisconsin decided to surprise me with a visit on Thursday evening. So, I haven't seen my family, I realized, in almost a year. So they were on their way to Cincinnati for a graduation party for one of our cousins. And they said, you know what, we should probably stop in and surprise Brandy and Jeff while we're at it. So it was a lot of fun. We took them all over the place, had them try some crazy food, went to Topgolf. We had a really good time.
Messing with Josh. Josh's birthday's this week.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice. Alrighty. Alright, so today we are on chapter 12, which is make failure your best friend. So the things which hurt instruct you. And it's all about really your mindset as well. So become teachable to learn from your failures. So teachability is an attitude and mindset that says no matter how much I know or think I know, I can learn from this situation. So a winner knows how much he still has to learn, even when he is considered an expert by others. A loser wants to be considered an expert by others, but before he has learned enough to know how little he knows. So how do you learn from your failures and mistakes? So to turn losses into profits, you really want to ask yourself these following questions that you want to ask yourself every time you face adversity. So number one, what causes the failure? The situation, someone else, or did you cause the failure? So you can't find out what you can do unless you figure out what exactly went wrong from the beginning. It's hard to figure out what you need to do differently if you don't understand the issue. And some people have to repeatedly keep repeating this issue. And a lot of times where people repeat is because it's an issue with themselves. It's very hard to point out certain things when you don't understand it's something that you are doing. And sometimes you have to go to somebody else and ask them, and I'm like, this is what I've been trying to do. And for some and I'm trying to get this result, but I'm not getting that result. They're like, is there something that I'm doing that you're seeing that is messing that up? And then having somebody, a mentor, tell you what that is. Number two, was what happened truly a failure, or did you just fall short? So this is where setting realistic expectations comes in. If you come into network marketing and say, I'm going to make $1 million next week, but you've never made $1 million before, that's an unrealistic expectation. And then also, when you do set a goal, a realistic goal, you want to make sure you run through the tape, not to it. Making sure that you have enough numbers where you're like, you know what, I know I'm going to make it no matter what, and just get it done. Number three, what successes are contained in the failure? So to create a gym, you have to create friction. Otherwise, you do not get a gym. And sometimes people have to be pressed hard enough to create a gym for themselves. So you really have to take a hard look at certain failures, and it's like, okay, what is there to learn from this? Sometimes it's hard to look at it and be like, there's no way there was a win out of any of this. Like with the coronavirus happening and the pandemic and all the crazy stuff going on. But we kind of looked at it like, okay, well, this kind of sucks. However, this is what we can do. We can't do any of this. We can't go meet with people. We can't go to Starbucks, sit down with everybody. However, we can use our phone. So we're like, that was a tool that we used to be able to work with what we had. I thought I had a sneeze coming, my goodness.
Hello.
The joys of allergy season. Number 4, what can I learn from what happened? If you maintain a teachable attitude as you approach the process and try to learn anything you can about what you can do differently, you will improve yourself. Number 5, am I grateful for the experience? To maintain a teachable mindset, you must cultivate an attitude of gratitude, just being thankful for what you have and just working. It's really, whenever, it's not about what happens to you, it's how you react to it. And when you react to things very differently in a calm manner, you also think things through better. Rather than people who throw their hands up in the air and throw a fit, they're not going to be able to think through this process very effectively to be able to have better results later. Number 6, how can I turn this into success? So determining what went wrong in this situation has value, but taking an analysis and figuring out how to use it for your benefit is the real difference maker when it comes to failing forward. So sometimes the benefit comes from learning something that will help you avoid similar mistakes in the future. And then number 7, who can help me with this issue? We've talked about mentors in the past and how important they are. And there's two kinds of learning. Experience, which is gained from their own mistakes, and wisdom, which is learned from mistakes of others. So seek advice, but make sure that it's from somebody who has actually successfully handled their failures. It's okay to fail and have failed in the past so long as you learned from them, but make sure you're not learning from a mentor that is still continuing those mistakes and not actually learning from them. And it's just something you have to be very observant of. It's just, does this person have the relationships, the business, and all the things that I want in my life? And sometimes you have to have multiple mentors because not everybody's good at everything. So sometimes you have to have multiple mentors in different things to be able to take that advice and then create what you need in your life and in your business. Number 8, where do I go from here? So in the book, Everyone's a Coach, learning is defined as a change in behavior. So if you haven't learned a thing until you take if you haven't learned a thing, you can take action and use it. So that's basically what I got. Oh, and my own mountain to climb. So people change when they hurt enough that they have to, learn enough that they want to, and receive enough that they are able to. So don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. So once you learn something, you really need to put it into action. Don't wait, and don't sit bummed out about the situation for too long. It's just, what did I learn from this? And sometimes it's just, you need, it just went wrong. Like with the pandemic that happened, a lot of people were like, well, this really sucks. I really can't do anything. And this is where you really start to see people who can learn to figure things out and have a positive attitude, because the people with the positive attitude took the initiative on themselves to be like, okay, this kind of sucks. We can't do these things, but what's another way that we can do this? And then they just figured it out. So with that, that's what I got for this chapter today. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, so John has a bunch of questions. It says, steps to actually failing forward. Realize there's one major difference between average people and achieving people, and that really boils down to how they handle things that go wrong. And it's not, failure of, a lot of people look at it as, oh my gosh, my career is failing. Oh my gosh, my business is failing, or my ability to recruit people is failing. That's really not what's going on. It's circumstances that came up in a day that you allow to affect you day after day after day after day. You'll find that average people overreact to almost everything. They have an overreaction to something going wrong, a schedule conflict. They have an overreaction to somebody not keeping an appointment, an overreaction to somebody not calling them back. You know, they're like, oh my gosh, this person thinks they hate me, and they hate the business, and they hate what I do, and they're just not interested, and they're going to tell all their friends. I'm like, actually, the person was on their way home and their tire popped, and they didn't have time to call you because they were sitting on the side of the road changing a tire. Do not dramatize every single thing. And a lot of reason we dramatize is because of all the crap that we've watched growing up. You know, I think it says something like the average person, and I can't remember the exact statistic, but it's high. It's like 75,000 or 100,000, you know. We've seen it somewhere between 75 to 100,000 violent actions by the time we're 18 because of all the... So the violence / drama of what we build in our mind, 80% of what you think might happen won't actually come true. I know that's another one that's out there as a statistic for that. And sometimes statistics are way off because it depends on where they're getting the information, how biased it is. And most information like that is biased. So learn a new definition of failure. We talked about that. Remove the you from failure. It's really probably just a circumstance that's come up, not a major issue. Morgan's here. Hello. Change your response to failure by accepting your responsibility. So you're really responsible for your day. You know, if things start out bad, you're responsible for turning it around. The day is not responsible for turning it around. Other people in the office, other people on your team are not responsible for turning you around. If you're upside down, backwards, you know, tied in a knot, that's your fault. You need to figure that out. It's not everybody else. And, you know, I used to say, well, it's because I live here and these people and this, that, and the other thing. Well, don't be around those people, you know, but they're like my family. You can limit the amount of contact with anybody if you want to. Don't let failure go from the outside to the inside. So, you know, don't internalize. Again, don't internalize, don't dramatize. Don't criticize yourself. See, a lot of people I see that they're self-critical. They're like, I'm positive to the rest of the world, but I'm self-critical. That's still not good. Say goodbye to yesterday, so don't continuously look backwards and think, you know, I'm never going to move forward because I'm stuck because of this. And people saw me do it, and people know I did it, and it didn't work, and everybody's always going to think of me like, no, they're not. People aren't thinking of you at all. People are so busy worried about what the hell they're going to do tonight. They rarely even, it crosses their mind what you're doing. Change yourself and your world changes. A rising tide, you know, basically raises all ships. So as you get better, this is, you know, something you learn from Jim Rohn. As you get better, the world seems to get better. Is it really the world that got better, or you got better at looking at the world? Get over yourself and start giving. One of the fastest ways to stop worrying about what everybody else is thinking is focusing on giving and what you can do and how you can help. You can wave your fist, you can make a sign, you can cry, whine, bitch, you can write things on Facebook, but who did you help today to change whatever thing that you're upset about? You know, people get upset and they just do all kinds of weird stuff that is kind of counterproductive to actually helping. So who did you help today? Find the benefit in every bad experience. So, you know, the good news is people got out and screamed and yelled. The bad news is nothing really changed. 11. If at first you don't succeed, try something else or try something harder. So you kind of have to find your way of helping. Helping yourself, because most of the time it's a help yourself thing, and then go help other people. Put your mask on first, and then go help everybody with. That's an airplane thing, not a corona thing. Because if you start helping people put their masks on, it'll be bad right now. Learn from a bad experience and make it a good experience. So, you know, you can turn things around. And Tony Robbins talks about, it's not what happens to you, it's the meaning you give what happens to you. You know, the meaning. And that's where you usually see people fail or succeed, is a lot of times people give the meaning of what happened is, I am a failure, or I screwed up, versus this happened to me, and this is just something that happens to everybody. I just had one of those days. This is not permanent. This is not ongoing. This is not stuck to me. It's just something that happens. So that's what I got for today. Tomorrow's chapter 13. It says, avoid the top 10 reasons people fail. So you probably want to hit that one. That's a top 10 list for tomorrow. Tuesday, we'll see you at 11:30. Every day we do this 11:30 to noon. Wednesday, Bess covers it. And what else?
If you'd like to go follow us on YouTube, you are more than welcome to. Each one of these videos is going to be uploaded there, so that way if you would like to rewatch one of these videos, you are welcome to go back. Also, I'm going to be putting a link in the comments below, so that way if you have not subscribed to our email database yet, we're sending these notes. We're taking notes on each chapter, and we're sending these notes to you. I do recommend you buying the book and reading it, but if you would like just the Cliff Notes, we have them right there. Also, please, please, please do not put your email in the comments below. You will be spammed, and not by us, but you'll be spammed by other people. I've been noticing a lot of comments popping up on even my Facebook lately of just random profiles. So please do not do that, and put your link in your email in the link, and then send everything in. But with that, that is it and what we have for today, and we will see you tomorrow.